cold soup. Cook it in a pot soup. On Sunday I have chicken soup. Super soup, what tasty goop. So I'm going to talk to you about reading out loud to children. And actually, it's one of the most important things that a teacher or an adult can do is to read out loud to children. Hot soup, cold soup, try it for your lunch soup on Saturday. I eat bean soup. Super soup, what tasty goop. There's been so much research on this, it's just hard to believe how important that becomes. Children who've been read to on a regular basis are more likely to go to college, are more likely to be successful in their lives, are more likely to have better paying jobs. I mean, it's really an amazing phenomenon. And there's a couple of reasons why reading aloud to children is so important. One of them is that it improves your attention span. 5 little monkeys brush their teeth. Great pictures, aren't they? Fabulous. So, for example, just by reading, it forces the children to think about what's next, to think about what they're hearing, so it helps them focus and with their attention span. And you know,
went to bed. Went to bed.
And jumped on the bed.
Again.
And you know, kids have got 1,000 things to think about today, and the way media goes so rapidly, so it really helps them focus. Another thing is that reading aloud to kids stimulates curiosity. Dreaming child on a snoring granny. What's next? What just happened, and why is that about to happen? And it gives young people and adults a chance to talk about something other than just the immediate nature of the day, what's happening at home, or what are we eating, or get out your textbook. It's some other thought that becomes really important. Another reason why reading aloud is so important, it just promotes literacy in general. On Thursday, it's ranchero soup. Super soup, what tasty goop. Yeah, they got it so well, I can't believe it. So, you've got a book in your hand, you're reading out loud, they're listening. So it's the whole notion of reading and listening and books and going to the library and get more books. It's about making literacy just a part of your everyday life. Also, it builds a bond between the person who's reading and the child that's being read to. And so it's a really lovely exchange. So that's why we do it. I mean, it's just very important. But now let's talk about what a reader needs to do before they read the book to the children, while they're reading the book to the children, and after they've read the book to the children. So before you read the book to the children, you need to read the book. But there's 2 very different things. There's reading the book, and then there's reading it aloud. So, 5 little monkeys fell fast asleep.
This part's weird.
And it's like if you played the piano. You look at the sheet music and study the sheet music before your recital. It's about this muscle memory and motor memory, so you have to practice. That's why people do scales on the piano. It's why you practice that song. You practice reading aloud, so you know what's coming next. So when it's supposed to be powerful or when you need to pause, you know when that happens. Reading aloud to yourself, your cats, recording yourself, whatever, is very important. The mama called the doctor, and the doctor said, no more monkeys
Jumping on the bed.
Now, it might seem like a very silly thing, but what to wear when you read to children really becomes important. Because 9 times out of 10, you're reading to children in a very small chair. And if you're a woman in a very short skirt, it can be a problem. And so, also, if you're a woman and you're reading to children and your blouse is coming open or too low. Now, younger kids aren't going to notice so much, but you will notice, you will feel uncomfortable. And what's important is that you become invisible, that all that's important is what is in the book and the fact that those children are receiving that information. What's doing? You see the mouse?
He's sleeping. Sleeping. Mosquito. There's a fly. There's a fly.
Also, before you read, you'll want to introduce the title. You'll mention it's a title. You'll mention the author, and you'll mention the illustrator. Okay, it's by Eileen Cristolo. Now, it's an old story. It's kind of like a legend, but she did the pictures and she changed the story a little bit. And some of the first grade children or kindergartners will know what an author is, some won't. So you'll say, you know, the author is the person that writes the book. You may say it 3 or 4 times. Then if you think that they're just learning this, you might say, okay, is the author the person that writes the book, or is it the person that publishes the book? They've never heard of publishing, so they're likely to guess it right. So you might give them 2 options where they get a choice, and they're going to guess the right answer. So you make it impossible for them to fail. So for example, if you are saying to them, is the author the person writes or illustrates the book, writes it or draws the picture, that may be hard because that's the very question that they're asking themselves. So there's a variety of ways that you can get the correct answers. Then I always love to just show the cover. Okay, so this is the napping house, and the author, what does the author do?
Write the book.
And that would be Audrey Wood, and the illustrator is Don Wood. Okay, so scratch your head. If the author is Audrey Wood, and the illustrator is Don Wood, it also says we're about to start. So there's something very nice. And all that happens before you ever start reading. So let's talk about reading. During reading, there are 3 ways that we communicate typically. We communicate with the words that we use. One fell off and
Broke his head.
the words in the book. Hot soup, cold soup. Share it with a mouse soup. On Wednesday we had cheese soup. Super soup, what tasty goop. With our voice, we either go very high or very low if we're trying to mimic a bear that's speaking or a little old lady that's talking. Or very loudly or very softly, depending on the nature of the book. There is a house, a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. So this voice, whether we go high and low, soft and loud, use it to tell your story. Literacy is about storytelling. It's about growing human experiences. So use that voice. The third way that we communicate is through body language. So often when I read, I try to read with the book in one hand. So I have the other hand in preschool to show, and part of the reason for a big book is to show that when you say a word, it goes with something on the printed page. It's a pre-reading skill, if you will. And on that mouse, there is a flea. Okay, do you all see the flea?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Wait. Yeah.
Can you see it? So, and sometimes you just have to put the book down and use all you've got. Sometimes you need to walk to show perhaps some area of suspense, something coming into the room. So just be aware of your whole body language as well. Who scares the cat? Who claws the dog?
Kid.
Who thumps the child? Oh my goodness sakes alive. Who bumps the granny? Oh my goodness sakes, poor granny. She is going for a ride here. Eye contact. So if there are 10 people in the room, you need 3 visual pinpoints. One on your left, one in the center, and one on your right. And in the house there is a bed, a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And if you've got a big room, you need 9 points. You need one in the right on the back, and then the left, in the middle, so that when you're looking, you look here, you look there, and you need to vary it. You're not like a machine looking at. You really need to make contact with these people. Some folks in the back are going to lose interest just because of the proximity that they're sitting. So you really do try to go to the back of the room to make sure they see you, and the front of the room so they feel included. So whether you have 3 spots, right, center, and left, or 9 spots or even 6 spots with a mediate-sized group, make sure you give them that icon. So when you're reading, there's something very important about the pause. The mama called the doctor. The doctor said, no, oh, so sorry. No more monkeys jumping on the bed. And of course, about repeating. Repeating can be very important if it's something important that you really want to share. If it's the essence of what you're reading, don't hesitate to read it again. In some of the books it'll say, the purpose of this story is. Then read that again. Or if you know, having read the book several times, that they could miss this point if I don't repeat it. I'm just about to lose them. Then repeat it. Feel free. Sometimes if I'm reading a book and what's on this side of the page is a secret, you don't want them to know yet, you just cover it up, turn it back. So, 5 little monkeys fell fast asleep.
This part's weird.
Or show them and focus them with your hand. Okay, soup of the day. What a way to spend each day. Sunday.
Monday. Tuesday. Wednesday. Thursday. Friday. Saturday. Saturday.
Eating hot soup. So it's important that they see the pictures when there's something that's very hard to see, like a little flea on the picture. You point it out or ask them to see it if you've got a small group. So again, showing the pictures is a key part of children's pictures books, so make sure you show those pictures. But I think the most important thing that a reader can do, let's say you walk into a room, you've got a short skirt, high heels, jewelry everywhere, your tie's too tight, you've never seen the book, you don't, whatever you come to the situation as, you are totally ill-prepared. The most important thing you can do is forget everything I've said and read. So, it's that easy, and it's important that every book you read better the next time.